folks, welcome back. I am over here across my place, and this is where I have decided to put some of my overflow tomatoes. And this weaved right there, that weaved trellis, last year I made it for my pole beans, and I had a few people say that's the ugliest looking trellis I've ever seen in my life. Well, you know what? It suits here. It didn't cost anything. They were saplings hardwood saplings that needed to be cut because they were in the way. They were just going to get mowed over. And dead saplings that I have found. So what I had done is I had cleared that area to begin with. And I just drove those poles, those saplings in the ground, and then tamped around them with dirt, because it's temporary, right? All they needed for one season. So that's what I'm doing. Is now last year when I did that, I didn't need any support whatsoever other than just to weave it. But where I'm trying to find and use dead saplings, I've had to zip tie them because they just didn't have the spring that new saplings would. So this pole over here, this trellis, this pole, the ugliest trellis you've ever seen, according to some, is going to be for fresh picking, eating off the vine pole beans. Now, a lot of you know that I grow Violetto pole beans, and I absolutely love them. So the string trellis for the tomatoes, I have extra bale and twine, and one of you had recommended bale and twine, and that's what I have a lot of. And I like to recycle as much as I can. I like to see what I have on hand and make that do. Could I go to the store and buy something fancy? Could I get all this hardware, all this fancy string? Absolutely I could, but I'm not going to. If I have stuff around the house that I need, it saves me a trip and it uses up what I have left over from bales of hay and what I can find out in the woods. So it doesn't cost me anything. But this year I had to use, I think, 4 zip ties to hold the poles in place. The cross pieces, the weaved pieces, because they didn't have that spring. So I've lost 2 comfrey plants, and those are the ones closest to the camp road, and that is very, very wet right there. They're wet in my garden too, and they thrive in my garden. But right here, those 2 spots over here, I don't know if I can show you or not. Let me take you off the tripod. So there's the camp road, and right there is a comfrey plant, and right there is a comfrey plant. So I think what I'm going to do is just give up on the comfrey here, because this is the second time I've planted them here in these 2 spots. I'm just going to plant some ground cherry tomatoes and let them spread. I'm over here by my cherry, pear, and comfrey patch. Over there I've got cabbage and African marigolds over there in those boxes. So here's what it looks like. The ugly trellis, the other ugly trellis, made out of, all this is made out of scrap stuff, folks. So the black flies are horrendous. This morning when I was out here, the mosquitoes were out pretty fierce. So there it is. String trellis, string tomato trellis, pole beans. So over here is what I still got to pick some of this stuff up. Over here, a lot of stubbles here, folks. I'm going to keep these blackberry plants here if I can, and that blackberry plant if I can, if it doesn't get in the way. Now, some of you may remember there was a hump here. Well, I took the shovel to that yesterday and got some filler dirt. That's what I call it, filler dirt. And right here, that clump of stumps, I got some, what is this, Speedwell? I don't know. I'll put a picture of it here. And these are the rocks that I dug out when I was doing this trellis system. So I just started throwing them over here to get them out of the way. And one rolled right up next to the stump, and I'm like, well, I'll just put the rocks around there. Nothing fancy, folks. Again, it was free. This right here is, where am I? Right here. This hump right here is a bunch of loam. I've got a beech tree growing through it. So I'm using that when I can, where I can. So the only, look folks, Canada geese, hi babies, they have made me their friend, and I'm pretty sure they lost their babies, folks, because they were here honking at the base of my steps yesterday morning. And I'm like, well, maybe they brought their babies back, but I knew that was kind of early. And they stuck around until dark, and then they spent the night out in the bog. They did not go to their nest. So they lost their babies, folks. So I'm sure they're after corn because I haven't put any out for them today. What's the matter, babies? You want some corn? Huh? You coming to keep me company? Come on. Come on. I don't have any corn up here for you. I don't have anything up here for you. They're very friendly. They come when I call to them. And again, I wouldn't want to sit down beside or try to sit down beside them and pet them. They are definitely wild. They just come up to see what I'm doing, I guess. So anyway, this is where it's at. I had to cut 2 saplings for the bottom row here. As you can see, they were maple saplings. And these are from last year. Most of them were pretty good. So there it is. Nothing fancy. It's all free. A little bit of work. A little bit of thinking outside the box. And I've got to trim those off. I left a spot to walk between this trellis and this trellis. So there you have it. Like I said, nothing fancy. And these are for indeterminate tomato plants. I'm trying the string method for the very first time. I'm learning as I go. And this is for fresh eating pole beans. So there we go, folks.